It's November and overnight we've turned into winter. It was about -3 degrees and everything is just covered in frost. Beautiful blue sky. And last night we had full moon, which you can still see up there. All of this dead vegetation that was rotting down is now covered in beautiful hoarfrost. Nettles there. And then even the gate is spiky with white frost. The new roof, which they've been working on for the best part of a month, is finally finished. We've just got the last bits of scaffolding to take down. And there's now a huge amount of sweeping to do all the way around, clearing up the block paving, which is full of bits of old slate and goodness knows what else. But I've begun here, well away from the house, which has got nothing to do with all the slates. This is an area of the garden that had just got completely neglected as I tried to get on top of everything else. So I've been clearing away the moss, trying to get it so that I won't need to do quite so much weeding in future, and you can see what it was like before I was working on it there. The nasturtiums that were coming through the back of the trellis have left behind this huge number of seeds, and they will be in the soil. Boop. Ready to go through next year as well. Next door's clematis is all rimed with ice as well. And then the birds in this giant fir tree behind, singing away. One of the jobs that I've been meaning to do for the last 2 years since we moved house is to do up this little shed that my father made for his mobility scooter. So it's all painted up now and I've completely replaced the roofing felt. Prompted into action by the roofers on the rest of the building. Very satisfying to have done it. I just need to move it back to where it belongs now. It's now where the lawnmower lives. Patio still needs to be swept. This is probably where there are the most nails now. But there'll be no more cutting of the grass for a few months. And I've been clearing out the weeds from the raised beds, finding all of the things that I'd actually planted there at the back, behind all the sunflowers and the summer growth. Something really satisfying about the crunch of frost under your feet. So having finally taken out the sunflowers, I've been putting in spring bulbs, lots of narcissi and other things. And then at the back, I collected seeds before I left my last house from this giant big red blousy poppy. And I've had several of those came up which I planted out in the spring, and I'd completely forgotten they were there. They got so overrun. So hopefully next summer I will have several big red poppies. Moving to the west coast of Scotland, everything is so much more damp, and that means that every tree, every rock, every boulder is covered in moss. Everything's just so soft and green. And again, there's the frost is just bringing out all the details of each tiny little bit of the moss. It's almost as if somebody's drawn the garden using a white crayon. on black paper, the negative of the usual sketches. Everything is outlined in white. And I've planted the garlic, which needs the cold, so needs to go in November to do really well, all underneath this ugly plastic mesh to make sure that the cats don't dig it all up, but also the rooks. As soon as they see any green points, they're down and they pull things out. There's a lot still to do now. The roofers have gone. I've got to put the gate back up again, as well as all the sweeping. We've still got some scaffolding left at the end of the house, and I'm not sure when they're coming back for that, but it's getting in the way of me being able to reach the chickens. My tarragon is all mulched with the homemade compost now and covered over in the wool that is used to insulate my cat's food when it arrives frozen through the post. And I've used the same stuff to wrap up my rosemary bush. My rosemary last year died, so let's hope this one makes it through. There's been lots to do in the greenhouse as well, clearing away the last of the tomato plants, doing some sweeping, removing the netting that shades from the sun. At the back there, my Vietnamese coriander is still going, even though the whole greenhouse is frosted. I don't know how much longer that'll survive. It seems to be okay at the moment, but it's quite tender. And then I still have plants that are waiting to be put in once all the scaffolding's gone. So I've got heathers and primulas and pansies. Feverfew leaves. In the summer they have the little yellow and white daisy heads. Used in the past for, as you might expect, breaking fevers, but also for headaches and migraines. Chives and sage, hyssop, marjoram, all frosted. My kale and leeks so far surviving the scaffolding. We'll see what happens when it all gets taken down. But we've been eating this for a while now, and the chickens are getting excited. They know I'm coming to feed them. Maybe November and the days are getting shorter and it feels as if we're on a long slide down into winter. But these are the buds of the rhododendrons that are going to burst into life next May. My new beech hedge, now all brown, difficult to see from the house. The next gardening task over the winter is going to be to prune my fruit trees. And again, even though it's winter and everything's dormant, every little branch on this plum has got buds just waiting for the warm weather and this sunshine to come back. But in the meantime, I have to cut out anything that's crossing and rubbing like this and just make sure that it's all ready for the new growth. It's a good thing I come out this morning. I've been away for the weekend. Somebody's delivered my chicken feed and just left it on the front doorstep where I hadn't seen it. Thank goodness it hadn't been raining. I've done a lot of tidying around here, trying to rescue these little thyme plants that are filling in the gaps around the base of the house. It's been covered in slate dust. And then the new little planters I did on the day that the scaffolding was erected were also covered in all sorts of bits of roofing felt, but they've survived. I haven't yet cut back the dahlias, which have finally died, but we've got the spring bulbs are already coming through, those green straps at the bottom. November's a difficult month. The days are so short, especially here in Scotland. It's getting colder, it's often wet, but it's also a month in which you begin to see the shapes of the trees and the bushes coming through as the leaves drop, and the beauty of structure, beauty of a beautiful clear sky, and for me the beauty of a nice solid new roof with a lovely 20-year guarantee, which means that if it rains on me in the kitchen again, I've got somebody to phone. If you found this video helpful, please do click on like below and subscribe to my channel. You might also like to hop across using the links to my Facebook or LinkedIn pages where you'll find much more content.